Good morning, Warriors! Back with another episode of Vigor Warriors 2. Hope everybody's doing well. This is Thursday, June 2nd. I know we missed one yesterday, but caught up with all kinds of stuff going on and wanted to kind of get back on track a little bit today. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are following your plans and staying on your goals. We're getting close to 2 years. So let's see. I think it's 700, and I said 730 days. So I was checking my list the other day, and or yesterday I think it was, and we're at 727 or 728 or something like that. So I think in a couple days I'll put a video out with 2 years and all the experiences and ideas I've had, and try to see if I can make some comparisons about when I started as compared to what's happening now. So it's important to kind of understand that what we're doing, guys, is looking at trying to become excellent as we go along. And we're not perfect, but things that we want to continue to improve on. And as long as you're moving in that direction, that's good. It's all good. And so what we do is we take things, we start with our basic idea of retention, and then we kind of move from there and say, okay, what other things can you do to kind of get more discipline in things in your life? And so over the last couple of years especially, I have become more aware of how important nature is, how important other things are, and how connected we need to be with things around us, except instead of worrying just about the physical types of things, monetary things like that a lot of us get caught into. And this is why I always said that we're living in a matrix that's not real. And a lot of it's put together for for people who want to control us, who want to make us spend our money with them, to buy things, and all these other types of things that puts us in emotional boxes so that we don't act upon something. And so when we look at all this, it's important to realize that. It's important to realize that what you're trying to do is say, I am trying to find out some real truths about this thing we call life and what God has given to us and how we should use it in the right way and the appropriate way to make life better. And so I'm always searching for things to do that with. And before I start, once again, go ahead and subscribe, like, comment. Thank you for all the comments and feedback. I really appreciate it. Even if you don't disagree or you think what I'm saying is funny or comical or doesn't make sense, that's okay. You know, it's your choice and your opinion. But I'm just trying to kind of reach out to those who want to look at maybe a better type of life. And I think that's kind of what we're focusing on. So I was talking to my son, and he was showing me this guy that was called the Liver King. And I don't know too much about him, so I have to go back and kind of do some research with him. But he had a nice looking build, and he was doing all kinds of stuff, and he was talking. And the one video that I watched, and I'll kind of review the points here, is called his 9 Ancestral Tenets. And so we'll kind of focus on reviewing this. Now, I don't know if, first of all, I don't know if he does retention or not. I know he's got, I think, some videos with this young lady on there. I'm not sure if he does retention. And I've also seen videos or people talking about how he's not really the way he, claims to be. That could be true. That could be false. I don't know. All I'm going to do is kind of look at the tenets of what he's talking about and see if we can try to apply those to our journey. And so this is kind of what I'm focusing on. So don't take this any sort of criticism or support for the Liver King, because I don't really know that much about what he does. I know he sells supplements and things like that, so it's possible that he's above board. It's possible that he's not. I don't know that. So all I'm going to do is kind of focusing on looking at natural things. Now, of course, you don't want to take steroids and things like that. And, we've known people in the past in athletics and a lot of things to do to get edge. They do that. and that to me is a wrong idea. I've gotten to the point over the last couple of years that I focus on trying to take nothing except the health benefits that I have from natural types of things. And I think that's given me a chance to become stronger with all of that. And I think that's an important type of thing to focus on when you're looking at this. So I think that I like some of the things that he said as his tenets, and we'll focus on this. But once again, I'm not really saying whether or not I agree or disagree with the Lion King and the way he acts and his behaviors and the whole idea about living, eating liver and that kind of stuff. I like liver once in a while, but I don't, at this point in my life, I'm not at that point where I'm eating all the kind of stuff that he's talking about. All right, and you feel free to go and check it out and see if you agree or disagree with some of the stuff that he's saying. But let me focus on some of these 9 tenets because I like some of these ideas. So the first thing he talks about is sleeping. And once again, I don't do this as well as I should. And I think this is the one of the things you want to focus on is getting a good night's sleep. So I totally agree with that one. I think sleep can make a difference. And I think there's a big difference between deep sleep and light sleep. I'm more kind of a light sleep person, so I don't get as much as deep sleep as I should. But I think a few things, remember here. You don't want to eat anything before you go to bed. I've made that mistake so many times, I can't tell you. I think you want to spend at least 3-4 hours and don't have a lot of caffeine, which is another thing that I've had at times. I tend to stay up late because of the caffeine, and I don't sleep that well. And so you want to try to watch what you're eating along with sleep. And that goes into second tenet, which is eating. And so you really kind of want to watch the foods you're eating, but also realize it impacts you. So if you're having things with a lot of caffeine, you can almost kind of see your heart moving back and forth and pumping really hard all night long because you're kind of jacked up. And so this whole thing you want to do is you want to make sure you kind of decrease all that. I would say once you hit 7 o'clock, had your final meal, then try to lower it down. I would say drinking non-caffeinated tea and water, those type of things are important if you got to have something before bed. I don't always do that. I got a better habit lately of doing some of that, but I'm kind of getting back to that. And I think you always have to kind of keep trying. And like I said, it took me 45 years to get to this point of having a 2-year streak. So, it's not easy. There's no doubt about that. It's not easy, but you can do it. And I think you have to keep trying to do it. And obviously, if you know what's right and wrong and you know things to try, that's a good thing. The third one is move. I think it's important. Now, as I've gotten older, my types of exercises have changed. I still do a little bit of weightlifting. Of course, I do my Fountain of Youth exercises, and I apologize, I still have to get a video on that out. But that sort of thing is very important. They do me a lot of stretches. I do squats with that. I've added some squats in and twists, and I have a big ball that I kind of lay backward on to work on my middle section and my my chakras in the middle. And I think that's really important to kind of look at as well. I think that I also walk. I have one of these Fitbit types of things. I don't know if it's called Fitbit, but what it is called. And I walk about at least 10,000 in a minimum. And sometimes I've got up to 20, 30,000 steps a day, which I think that is a key. And I think in the video, this Liver King says you should go about 10,000 steps a day. So I think that's wonderful. I think as a teacher, consultant, instructor, tutor, all kinds of other stuff that I work with companies and things, I walk around on it during the day, and I think it's important to look at that. So you got sleep, eating, moving, shielding. I think certainly you're talking, and this one I have to kind of look in more, but I think he's talking more about making sure that emotionally you're staying on track on your goals, and you're focusing away from distractions and things like that. But I have to be honest with you, I'll go back and look at that one. I'm not totally sure. The fifth one is connecting. This I do remember from the video, and basically what he's talking about is connecting with the ground. Now I have done this more often, that I take off my shoes and socks when I'm at home now. So I try to walk around and touching the floor in the house, but then I actually go outside and touch the trees and the bare ground. And in my yoga meditations, I cross my hands like this, and then my feet, and I touch myself with my hands and feet. And I think that's really important to do. I think once you do that, you're connecting yourself and to the ground and to God and the world. So I think certainly going out, even if you're just touching a tree, the video says, and I would agree with that. I think that there's some benefit to that, to looking at that. So we're talking about sleeping, eating, moving, shielding yourself, connecting. Cold, of course, I found this one out over the last couple of years. I think certainly having cold showers has been great for me. I think getting into it and shaking yourself up a little bit allows you to take that chance of walking in the shower. I think certainly walking into that shower just before you're able to get in there, and the feeling of, well, I don't want to do this, but then you get in there and you hit that reaction, that's a great reaction. And I do that every time I go in there, so I enjoy that a lot. So having some coldness is good. Then you talk about the sun. Because I'm more fair skinned, I don't do a lot of the sun stuff. So honestly, I'm not totally sure with that one. I'm gonna have to go back and look at that one a little bit more. So this one and the shield one, I'm gonna have to do a little more research with. But I think certainly there's nothing wrong with the sun. I think being in the sun gives you a lot of vitamins, things like that, along with having a beard and those type of things all create a real positive type of thing. So there's certainly nothing wrong with sun. And I think emotionally people change a lot when it comes to the sun as well. When they're in, outdoors in the sun, they feel so much better than when it's gloomy and depressed and rainy and things like that. So the sun's also important. Fighting and bonding. Fighting is the one fighting. Now, I think it's more of an internal thing. I'll have to look up fighting and bonding in this one. Relationships, I think, are important, but I think that the fighting one, to me, I think fighting in a sense of having a goal and battling things is really important. So I'll take it to a different type of level. I think it's a matter of that you don't give up, that you continue to battle on and have that warrior mentality, and that I totally agree with, because I think certainly that's a key to it. And so fighting, being strong, and having that will that you're going to continue, and that mental energy and strength that you're not going to give up, that you're going to continue to fight on, and that every day is a new day to a wise person, and that you're going to take the new day and really capitalize on it and be as strong as you can. I think that's really important. So fighting those battles every day mentally is important, as well as physical. And the last one, I think he's talking about bonding. I think more in relationships and things like that. And I think certainly that's important as well. And I think, you have to kind of focus on how well you communicate to people, how well that you work with people. And here again, once again, and I have said this before, whenever you have societies, and I think we've talked about this in the downfall of the Roman Empire and different things like that, whenever you have societies that are building up, they're building up because you have people who are they're givers. What I mean by givers are people who work with each other, who think of others at the same time, or even more so than they're thinking of themselves. And so when they're thinking about other people, they're saying, well, how does this affect other people? How can I go ahead and make things better for the whole? That's how you end up building communities. And as you build communities, you grow. And you look at any kind of dynasty that's grown, either in the United States, even in the United States back in the 1700s, when the Pilgrims came over, late 1667 or something like that, and you see people, and you see them how they're working with each other. They have to help each other out. And so when you have this mentality, you will thrive. And people who help others win, they win too. But in societies that fall apart, the reason they fall apart is because the takers are people who are highly selfish, only think of themselves, they're not thinking about other people. They take, And because they create a division or chasm between people. And so now these people are not interested in helping other people. They're just interested in making sure they get what they want and that they get what they deserve in their minds. And so as time goes on, if the takers outnumber the givers, your society starts to fall back and eventually can destroy themselves, which is what happened in the Roman Empire and the Incas and the Mayas and the Greeks, and all these places start going from that I'm going to help other people out to the extreme, to the fact I'm going to help myself out to the extreme. And so when you look at that, that's going to be the whole key. And so this is why we talk about bonding, and we talk about how we need to help others out. You know, I just don't talk about it because I think, well, it's a nice idea. I talk about it more because the idea is that if you don't help other people out, you end up having the effects of it as well. And so when the givers are outtaken by the takers, then you lose your society. So in summary, guys, I like what I'm hearing from a lot of those tenets. I wasn't 100% sure on the shield one. I've got to go back and look at that one a little bit more. But I do think that a lot of the ideas he has are sound. Once again, I don't know too much about this the Liver King guy. He looks like he's big and strong, and he looks like, if he's doing things healthy-wise, that's great. And I'm not sure if he's on retention or not either. But I think on the other hand, what you want to do is make sure that everything you're doing is following your journey and your plan, and you use from other people what things you can do to help you. And so Lion King provides some nice and interesting information that can help you, and hopefully you take advantage of that as well, as you do with all kinds of stuff you do. I mean, I look at the Fountain of Youth stuff, which I think I started back in 1998, as phenomenal stuff. It's been good for me for all these years, and I'm going to turn 61 at the end of the month, and I feel unbelievable. But a lot of it's because of exercise. And I can tell, my friends, this is where you can tell. If I don't do the exercises and I forget, like in the morning I forget to do the exercises, all of a sudden I feel different. And I think a lot of it is because I haven't stretched out my my core and my chakras in the middle, and I haven't gotten those spinning chakras on those exercises. It doesn't take that long to do those exercises, and I think what I'm going to do is the next one, I will do it on the Fountain of Youth and go over each one of them again. But the thing is, what you really want to do is look at having something that's going to stretch your muscles in the middle, and you're going to be able to stretch out and be loose. Trouble with most people, I believe, in society is we get stressed out, and the stress is where it causes a lot of physical problems. The stress is psychological, but it causes physical problems because you tighten up and your muscles are tight. So the Fountain of Youth helps me, and I notice that when I don't use it, it becomes a big problem. All right, my friends, enough for today. June 2nd, Thursday. You guys take off. Have a great day, and battle on. Continue battling with your enemy, which is yourself in many cases, and the things around you, and continue to be strong. Strength in the Lord, my friend. God bless you guys, and battle on.